The locations, the design, the materials used, all the way down to the latest details, are few of many things that we focused on when we envisioned the airport residency. As proud innovators of community estates, the airport residency in Old Yundum, a project by Swami India International, offers unique gated community with 3 and 4-bedroom villas and duplexes. Just 5 minutes away from the Banjul International Airport. Luxury, convenience, and accessibility are some of the reasons you should consider this great housing opportunity. With a clubhouse, a playground, access roads, and parking facilities available for your dream home or a valuable investment, you will find all you need at Airport Residency here in Old Yundum.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to all of you, our viewers all over the world. Normally we don't come on Saturdays, but today we have a special program on a special day with a special individual and we are going to contextualize the political thinkings on current affairs in the Gambia. These will range from Gunjur and generally all over the country. And of course, we are in the political season also. Election is just at the door here now. And we have political parties crisscrossing the country. And you know that what means, promises, counter promises, arguments and counter arguments. And of course, we need to discuss, our environment. We need to discuss about our youth and all those things. And we have somebody who has authored a book about migrations, to be a migrant, and then now youths are kind of, flooding into Europe through back way. And we're going to discuss that, but once again, today is Saturday, 8 o'clock, our program, UK time, and the Gambian time. We have a special guest, if, I'm not saying of Gunjur is famously known for producing intellectuals, all over the place, rainbow of intellectual. But this individual is a special intellectual, because he's multi-intellectual, if you like, from environment to activism to a blogger to IT, all over the place. And he is a teacher, although also a runaway teacher for that matter. And before we go, and I'm going to introduce this special individual, and he will tell us about himself. Once again, I will introduce to you and welcome to you on Dialogue with the Youth. So come political thinking with Mori Kebba Jammeh, my own uncle. Once again, welcome to Dialogue with the Youth, so Uncle Mori.
Thank you, Ibrahim, my nephew from Gunjur. And we were all in the same compound when I was in the Gambia, because you were brought up by your grandparents. So My name is Mori Kebba Jammeh. A lot of people commonly call me Mori. And there's a long history. I went to Muslim high school in Banjul. From there, I went to Gambia College to become a qualified teacher. This was in 1989 for 2 years. After graduating from there, I was posted to Kianquinala. It's a village called Medina Angale. It's a border town between Casamance and Gambia. So I taught there for like 3 years. After that 3 years, I came back to the Gambia College to pursue my higher teacher certificate. They call it HTC at the time. I don't know if it is still a program at the Gambia College based in Brikama. So while at the Gambia College pursuing my HTC, I completed the first year. The second year, my nephew, Lamin J. Dabo, was graduating from Tennessee State University. From there, as a JD, Juris Doctor, they call it. So from there, he sent my invitation from Gambia. That's how I came to the United States. And pretty much I spent an entire year in Tennessee before moving finally to Alabama. Why Alabama? Because Alabama is the place that has been great for me in many ways, regardless of all the shenanigans you may have heard about the state. It's all about your personal interest and hard work. Hard work produce results. And that's how I ended up in Alabama. I went to community college, went to work, and that's where I met my spouse, then married, have 2 children, 2 beautiful girls right now. And 2013, I graduated from Athens State University with management in technology. This is an IT focused degree. So since then, I've been working mainly at financial institutions as an IT specialist. That's my role. I've been at one bank for like 4 years. I transferred to another bank where I have been there for 5 years now. So that's how it started for me. And during my visit, during my stay in America, most of the material in my book was written within my first 6 years. Because of the experience I've been going through, I documented everything. When I went for my first visit to Gambia in 2009, when I returned back, I started writing the book, compiled the material after a sustained long time. So I guess I can stop there for personal introduction and we can proceed. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Uncle. What a resume, as you people will say, or CV from our end, and really, really impressive and very, very attractive, and I hope the younger people, our audience, will learn from this and know that life journey is not short. It takes a long time to be where you are sometimes. It will be convenient for them to see Mori today in US today and say, that's it, you are lucky. But, the journey that you just summarized now, it's not 1 year, it's not 2 years, it's many, many, many years compiled. But you talked about your experiences, that you documented in your in book as a migrant, especially for your first 10 years or your first 5 6 years. What are some of those experiences that you experience, within this period that you document specifically? Because you've been in America for a long time, but why this time it becomes so specific, and to basically base your book on from your first year to your first 6 years?
Yes, the reason for that is mainly when I first came to America, it wasn't all made for me. I had to work very hard, knowing that I've just completed my first year at Gambia College to have my higher degree, and that terminated in the middle of this. At the start of the second year, I knew there was a burden or a task ahead. That is, do I go to school and attain something that I terminated in the Gambia, or do I just absorb myself into American life without furthering my education? So it wasn't a hard decision for me to make.
Mm.
I immediately worked for a complete year. Uh, I would say multiple jobs at the time. Getting jobs in America wasn't easy and wasn't difficult. And when you came to this country, it's easy to get documentation, which is always required before employment. So I had like multiple jobs and going from one job, sometimes mainly through public transportation, that facilitated that effort. And I was able to save an amount of over $6,000. So at the time, after 1 year, I purchased a vehicle. And from that balance, I moved to Alabama and paid upfront my education until the final year when my funds were exhausted, seriously exhausted. I was thinking about going out of school for maybe 3 months to gather additional money so I can get my associate degree at the time. So there was one lady, may her soul rest in eternal peace. She was my teacher or lecturer or whatever you may want to call it, professor. And she intervened with the university and suggested to them to offer me a scholarship to allow me to complete the last 3 months of my education. And thankfully that materialized and I got that scholarship approved. Then I was able to graduate. It was supposed to be 2 year degree, but I completed it in I would say 18 months. 18 months, 6 months earlier, because I was going to school continuously. I've not dropped out of any specific quarter to get money or gather additional funds. Her intervention helped me graduate 6 months in advance. After graduation, I was employed by Home Depot. Home Depot is a building material or construction material seller in America. So I worked there for, I would say, less than a year. This IT company in the same place called Huntsville, they hired me, and I've spent 11 years there before I finally moved to Birmingham. They are both in Alabama, but Huntsville is like northern Alabama. It's about 90 minutes drive. I still go there from time to time when my children need braids, African braids. It's love it here. So there are some Gambians doing that. So I take them occasionally to Huntsville to do their hair. So that's how it started. And some of the jobs at the beginning, I was a dishwasher. I wash dishes basically. In Gambia, you would say it is women who does that, but
yeah,
in America, you do what you have to do to get to from point A to point B. So I was doing that. One of the restaurants called Red Lobster, that's seafood mainly. I worked there as a bread baker. I was baking their bread, so it was tasty. There wasn't much to do. Just put it in the oven. The oven takes care of it. But as far as the mixing, I do the mixing. Of course, with measured ingredients. You cannot put more, you cannot put less. So I was doing both jobs at the same time to help me save enough money to go to school. And that's where I am today.
That's interesting, Uncle Mori. Nyana Jammeh Dabo is saying thank you, Uncle Mori, and Ibrahim. Greetings to you, Uncle Mori, specifically. Yeah, and yes, our listeners are all over the place listening to you. I think this point is very, very important. When you're emphasizing, the magic of education, how migrants, especially the younger people that are coming, not to see education like like a learning karambakabang, nafate karamwala. You have to focus on education if you want to stay and be very, very productive or have good jobs along the way. And two is, the younger people need to understand, especially those who are in the Gambia. It doesn't necessarily mean hopping in the dinghy boats and come to Europe and you're going to sit in the office and work and all those things. You're going to go through all these processes. Sometimes dishwashing, sometimes all kind of jobs, that you can call menial jobs if you want, as you say, to get from point A to point B. But your ultimate aim should be to get yourself some education, some skills, so that you can help yourself through your journey into a foreign land, or probably you can be skilled enough. Even when you go to Gambia, you will have something that can help you to carve out a living for you and your family. So that is very, very important. In essence, you are telling us that coming to Europe, you have to be realistic. You have to do what you should do to get from point A to get to point B. If that means you're going to worst place, you're going to be security officers, because I was doing security when I was going when I was doing my education. That's the only thing that will enable me to read the whole night and in the morning go to college or go to university. But Uncle Mori, you were a teacher in the Gambia. The transition from teaching and your time in the Gambia, I'm not sure whether you have any access to computers or what. How comes you choose competing? Instead of normally people will just drag with their specialty from the Gambia and continue like that. But how comes you choose IT? And to me, I didn't know whether Gunjur has any IT when you were there.
Yes, that is very important. When I was in the Gambia, there were a few computers at the Gambia College, but not a whole lot. So in Gambian schools, if there are computers, mainly it's supplied by foreign donors, like either a company or a school having a sister brotherly relationship with another school overseas, and they may supply a few computers, but it wasn't as intensive as in here. So in Gambia, only at the Gambia College, I've interacted with computers. So most of the teaching there at the time, the provincial parts of the Gambia, they do not have any technology whatsoever. If there is technology at schools, it's mainly in the Combo areas and in Banjul. So in the upper hinterland, there was none, and virtually none. So most of the teaching is done using cardboards or other forms of teaching aids to transmit knowledge to students. So it was very, very difficult. But when I came to America, uh, I've started interacting with computers a little bit more. And when I go to school, that's where I decided that this is what I want to pursue. I'm going to deviate from teaching because pursuing teaching, there are too many restrictions and too many uh, hoops and hoops you have to go through in order to get a certificate and be certified to teach in America. If it is something I have in my heart, I can do it even today. People change careers in this country like they change shirts or dresses. So that is nothing unusual. But as far as IT, part of the reason was there was job security. So at the moment, when you go to job boards, you see a lot of companies asking for employment or looking for employees with even basic IT requirements. So right now, related to my job, the things I do in IT is mainly remote support. That is, bank is a credit union with over 150 members. Like in Gambia, you have one central bank. All the other banks have their customers. Their customers bring money, bring checks, and other things. So the banks all send it to central bank for clearing and processing. So that's what my current bank does. We are a banker for other banks. So a lot of times they use our product to scan their checks to us. And there are times when they have technical issues. We have products where somebody can be in Gunjur, another person in Basay. You can remote in, get into their computer and fix the problem without physically going there or sending somebody there. So that's the technical aspect of my job on a daily basis. And also employees within the company who may have issues with their computers or applications. You go around remote in and fix it. So that's what I do today.
Oh, that's really the future IT, as we will all agree. Now the world is more into IT, and IT is ruling the way to the future, to the prosperity, economy, and education, and medicine and everything else. How imperative will it be for Gambia to digitalize, the Gambian economy, the education specifically, and health, because that's the future, and the potential of that to minus, to or reduce corruption and many. It will be important. You as an IT specialist, and you know what IT can do. What will your what you would should be your advice, or what is your advice to Gambia, and how you think IT can help reduce a lot of some of the things that we are experiencing in the Gambia, education, as you said, and many other areas.
Yes, IT can be used in different ways. For example, instead of it reduce cost. Cost in what way? That is, if you have the technology I was describing, remote support, you do not need to send technical experts from Gunjur, Brikama, or any other place to go to Banjul to fix an issue. They can fix it without any additional expenses. All the government has to do is get the product, the material, let it be there. Issues can be handled in that way. And when it goes to technology and healthcare, some of these diseases, why do we have to go to Senegal today to do further testing about diseases or sickness that any member of our family may undergo, or somebody in the Gambia leaving Gambia to go to Senegal for that? So if we have merged our IT into health sector in many ways, we can do a lot with those diagnostic tests. Diagnostic tests can be handled in Gambia rather than just leave Gambia to Senegal for that. And when you go to Senegal and find out this is what is wrong, even after that, it can still not be cured in the Gambia or in Senegal. But why spend additional funds to go to Senegal only to be told this is what you have and we cannot do nothing about it? It's painful, I know, for Gambians, but hopefully there are so many opportunities ahead. Today, it is because of IT I'm talking to you from United States. You are in London, and Gambia can see us online talking. I used to listen to the BBC by radio. I'm sure people can see it on TV now in Gambia. That is all because of technology. So the opportunities are vast. Merging it with our health sector, of course, all the different organs of the government, like it can make the area councils very effective in many ways by reducing rampant corruption there. So that's how I see it. The opportunities are vast, and developments in IT, although Gambia is slow to benefit from this, with the right government, with the right technical aspect and training, people can learn and utilize this in the Gambia, which will benefit every Gambian in many respects.
That's very good. Definitely, and I worked in the Gambia back in 2011, 2012. I did quantum, and I was surprised. Went to the police station. The files are in papers. They are all over the place in the cupboard and all those things. Quantum, our QIT students can build a database where people's names and date of birth can be there. You click their date of birth and everything comes up. But there's a full room of papers and cards and all those things, all roughed together in the police department in Gambia, in Banjul. I wonder why they are doing that, because that's not, it will be cheaper. Even students in IT schools or IT colleges in the Gambia can build databases where people's date of birth and all those things. But no, you have a full room with big, massive cupboards full of papers and all those things. It's unbelievable, really speaking, Uncle Mori.
In addition to that, even without going into much extensive programming, basic Excel can handle that problem. eliminate too much paperwork. You can have millions of records on Excel, have everything centralized rather than a cupboard full of papers that is so cumbersome in many ways. And the case for fraud and stealing personal information or personal privacy is all compromised when data is stored in that manner. It is something that Gambia should start walking away from, but we are still behind. But with the right government, right technology, and right technical training, people can do it. People can do it, no doubt about that.
Yeah, Uncle Mori, that's fantastic and a good advice. I know, there are a lot of public officials, all over the place who will be listening to this and why we cannot do this. There's no excuse for it, But once again, we are in this season of politics in the Gambia, or party politics, election year, if you want to call it. I saw a post that you say once again, Gambian politics, we are entering the season of personal destruction, and the newest casualty in Gunjur is a man of integrity, Saiful Lamin Dabo. I don't think it is sustainable for the ruling party to make some of these positions appointments contingent on political party support. But not only Lamin Dabo, but you have Alaji Conte now, and the Alcalosip also from, was given to Bafanding temporarily, and it was turned to Dembo, who is a son of Bafanding. So, it's all mixed, and Gunjur is a victim, just within this short period of time. And we are all the same. We are all, one family, one rope together. And you comment. I know, through Golden Leads, which we all disagree with Alaji Conte, but definitely, the rule of law, the kangaroo court, to bombs on somebody and frozen, and frozen his account without due process and all those things. How can you comment on that? On your post?
Yes, occasionally I comment on matters happening in the Gambia. Some related to politics, some are not, some are personal. When it comes to the chieftaincy, I really did not see any reason why that action should have been taken against Lamin Dabo. Because based on written reports, what happened was he was just there, and a message came from the commissioner in Brikama telling him that he has been sacked. And as of this day, I don't know what's the reason or whether new developments have cropped up that may have explained the termination. But it's Gambia. Its politics is all manufactured within our own Gunjur or society, that one faction comes from one another, goes to the other faction, and have the ear of somebody who is close to the president, so and so is not supporting you. And I believe that's how it started. Just like it has started in many different occasions in the past. If the government suspects that you are not a supporter, or maybe it's an impression by somebody without even any evidence, they talk about it, and in the end, you become a casualty. I believe in that case that's what may have happened. And it's very, very sad. And the next day, within 24 hours, news came that the chieftaincy was given to another brother, Falalo Toure. So I was wondering through that night what was the reason Falalo got the position. Were there people around Falalo who were pointing him to Adama Barrow? I am not sure, but it encapsulates my entire belief that it all emanated from Gunjur. That's where it started, and it developed into different talks and different backbiting. So in the end, it was given to somebody from Gunjur. I'm sure there were people who are behind that maneuver. When it comes to Golden Lead, as you rightly stated, my personal fight and commitment and all the pain that I feel about Golden Lead, which was brought to Gunjur by Alaji Conte, which I entirely disagree, but still respect him as a brother because he was a brother to me in many ways. And a nephew, I would say, since he's a friend to Lamin Jedab. So even though I disagreed with him about the operation of Golden Lead in Gunjur, precisely because Golden Lead is destructive to our environment. We may not all agree on it right now or see it right now, but I predict in in not far, many years away from now, more damage will be seen because some of this is environmental and you can see it if you want to see it. There are different photos on social media that can indicate or give you a sample of the damage they have done, especially around the Bolonfenyo area. So just because you do not see anything right now doesn't mean there is not going to be more damage later. Because one thing that is happening, they have this pipe coming from their building to the sea. Whatever is going into that sea, I do not know. And I'm not sure whether those who are employed there or anybody in Gunjur knows what is being transmitted through those pipes. It could be fish, water, it could be chemicals. Chemicals can escape through that pipe and go into the sea. That's a strong possibility. And what about the fish in the sea? And we are eating those fish. Who knows, in the years to come, some disease may come up and come to find out it is through Golden Lead. Look at Golden Lead, their operation in Gunjur and that road leading to Gunjur. That road should have been constructed by the government. So the fact that it has still not been constructed is a very, very bad idea. There are people living around there. They are disturbed because of dust, especially sometimes of the year. It is very bad. And that is an ongoing thing. Every year it happens. And it's a matter of people not understanding the future implications of what their actions could have caused. Okay, and since it is affecting other parts of Combo, this is not only in Gunjur, but why in Combo only? Because we are the one with beaches. Khartoum has a fish meal factory. Gunjur has it. Sanyang has it. I don't know if Banjul has it or not. But long term, the fish resources for the Gambia could be utilized in a way that it benefits Gambian people rather than exporting fish oil meal from Gambia to China only to be given to pigs. Why is it not good for our people? I know the government may say because of the close relationship between China government and Gambia, but why would you allow, because of diplomatic relations between China and Gambia, you will allow everything to go into waste, damage, future issues that may arise? Will China take any responsibility for their individual citizens? I do not think so. So there are sometimes it is necessary to break diplomatic relationship or have other avenues of diplomatic help rather than basing it or depending on one country, even though this is not a bilateral government to government contract. This is a Chinese citizen or citizens who are doing the business within Gambia. And what is government's role in that? Why is the government keeping a blind eye to their operation and not regulate them properly and control it properly? Because that area is a tourism development area. Why can the government invest there or do it through bilateral relationship with other countries and build something there that these Europeans or other nationalities come there to do their holidays, rather than just making the entire place smell and inconvenient for the larger population. So it is an ongoing problem and it needs to be addressed. Yes, you can ask, among these political parties, who do you think will correct this issue? There are multiple parties. You have the current president, who I was hoping immediately when he came in as the new president will pause this operation and investigate or do something about it. But to this day, it is happening. And their power has increased because they are operating in other parts of Combo South. What are they doing about it? So the Hussein Dabo, GD, what's the? I don't want
UDP.
UDP. What's their plan? Even though Alhaji Conte is a member of that political party, I'm still hopeful that if Hussein Dabo wins as a president, I expect him to talk about this issue and put a handle on it. And with Alhaji also there, I do not mind to talk to Alhaji personally to express my dissatisfaction about this project. I can do that. So I'm hopeful with this. I am expressing that UDP could be the incoming new government to lead us into something better.
Okay, Uncle Mori, we are going to come there because I have to Clorcy's comments and which fits directly into, and we are going to come because you said keep going to the well but retreat without drinking. Why? I am not declaring an allegiance to any political party because this is no time or assumption. Do you have an idea what the platform of your party is? That was a while ago, but we are getting closer and closer to election. You need to answer this now, or why are you waiting? But my in-law to Clorcy says Gunju needs to vote against Barrow. Jammeh dismissed Chief Dabo for refusing to support him, and Barrow did the same. Barrow and Jammeh are 6 and 9. Falalo is soon to rest father-in-law. Barrow wanted to make sure the chief is loyal to him. That's, and he's talking about Alaji Conte here. He is my brother too, but Alaji is wrong when it comes to golden leads. But on the issue of golden leads, you say the most outrageous detractors are people from Gunjur, who are residing in the West and seeing this threat and danger and choose to remain quiet about it. So the arguments that people in Gunjur are going against their own people might be for self-interest or because of short-sightedness or because of they don't know, and they supported this environmental destruction and the makeshift company that the Chinese built there, and the arrogance and the exploitation of our natural resources and our people is beyond belief. But still, within Gunjur, there's an infighting there that people are saying. But in terms of Gunjur going against Barrow, and I saw one of your posts where you said we need a change in the Gambia, and why? Do we need change in the Gambia, and why? You have to answer your own question, Uncle Mori.
Yes, we do. Because what is seen cannot be unseen. We were all hopeful after 22 years of dictatorship and a very bad government in the Gambia. Everybody was hopeful Barrow will come. We do not expect him to conquer everything at once and make everything okay at once. But over the last 5 years, things have happened which should have been handled properly. One of those is it is very, very sad in the health sector. Every day, every few days, you see that somebody died because of child labor. And that is very, very sad in this country. I'm not saying it has not been happening under the previous governments, but when an issue is happening on a regular basis like this, what is the government's solution? I haven't seen any. Maybe there is, but I have not seen any or heard about it. I've seen a lot of ambulances. Sometimes they line them up and take pictures and post it on social media. Those are technical gifts from governmental agencies that are donated to the people of the Gambia. But what use is there for those machines or cars or vehicles to be all packed without any fuel to transport somebody to the hospital when they are sick? Or where are the medicine that is at the hospital when you take a patient you can give medicine to? So that has been an area that needs to be redressed. Whatever the government can do, they can organize or train people in different parts of the country to help women in this sector. Because when I was growing up in Gunjur, there were people who were there to help women, especially at childbirth. Some of my sisters-in-laws were never transported to the hospital to deliver a baby. They did it at home with the help of my mother or other old women. Where are those old women today? They could be trained locally in our villages to address this problem, but it is something that needs to be addressed. All right, that's one thing. Environmentally, what is the government doing to alleviate problems with our environment, deforestation, people cutting down trees. They do not replace them with anything. They just cut it and put it into use. They don't care who comes tomorrow and replace them. So there needs to be laws that will address these problems. Barrow had 5 years to do it. I don't think he has done anything. That's another thing. But with healthcare, health sector, there is hope. Maybe with a new government, we can use this money that the International Development Association of World Bank announced yesterday that they are giving Gambia $50 million to invest in the health sector to arrest some of these problems. So hopefully with a new government that can be put into use, because just announcing we are giving money to the government doesn't mean anything. It could end up anywhere, none of us knows. All right, if it is $50 million, a lot of people can tamper with that money without proper inventory, and somebody has to be responsible. So government funds, we may think it's okay to embezzle or take government money and spend it for personal reasons, but on a wider scale, it is affecting our socio-economic development, and it's affecting other sectors as well. So the man at the top need to be responsible and take care of.
Yeah, definitely. The buck need to stop with the leader, and if the leader is not doing what he's supposed to do, really speaking, as my in-law Tukrol said exactly, Mori, we need, if we change our government and another incompetent president sits, we will fight and remove them. Someday, these politicians will get the memo, which is right. Why do we waste our time debate with a failed CEO who cannot do anything? But in back in January in 2020, you wrote that Adama Barrow has a dictatorial tendency, and it looks like people around him are not advising him. Exactly that's what is happening, because he's bragging that he put hot water or tear gas on 3 years Jotna. Now Nene Fred Gomez is being arrested, and she's been ferried from one unknown unmarked cars from one unknown place to the other, and all those things. These are some of the things that you were saying. If we have to continue this way with this momentum of this president, if God forbid, he should be there for next 20 years, probably he will do more than what Yaya did to Gambians. Comment on that post that you said, and why did you see that since back in January or back in 2009, where you said the level of hope and enthusiasm that has greeted the president has vanished in most quarters, not because of ill will, but due to the level of arrogance and pomposity in him and people around him. Can you dilate on those posts that you made?
What precipitated for me to write that was my observation that the people who fought for Adama Barrow were thrown under the bus mainly. That is, the diaspora people contributed a lot financially to help him win that election. Without a doubt, financial commitment was key, and a lot of people, including Tuklor C and her group, I don't know the name of the group, but they have set up GoFundMe accounts that helped the coalition group at the time. So Adama was chosen as the lead. But today, in terms of then when he was talking, he cannot finish a sentence without mentioning how important social media played a role in his winning. And today is a different story. He disparaged social media because people who are against him are all bad because they write on social media. I haven't heard him talk positively about social media. And this is the only way some of us can express our opinions. And in addition to that, people who were around Yahya Jammeh at the time were very brutal. They were up to no good. And those are the kinds of people he has surrounded himself with today. And that was very, very disappointing. Gambian youth have worked so hard to contribute to his winning. But today, this back way phenomenon, why is it happening? I know he cannot control it, but what has he done for youth in Gambia that can divert or redirect their mind to personal development, help themselves to acquire skills? Has the government put up any institution to train these youth so that we can have our own builders, construction folks in Gambia, rather than always ordering expertise from overseas? Can we not do it for ourselves? The government has to lead that effort. They have to. So the youth have contributed a lot in his winning, and he hasn't paid that back by investing in areas that will develop youth. And that's an ongoing problem that needs to be fixed. The current unemployment rate for youth, according to estimate given by, I believe one of the, I got that information from one of the agencies from World Bank, is 12.44%. 3 years ago, when at the time Yahya Jammeh was getting off the stage, it was I believe 33. Adama Barrow is 0.33 up from where Yahya Jammeh was in 2016. So it's not going up, but it's stagnant, basically. That's what it is. So 3 to 5 years, nothing has changed. If anything changes, very limited. I'm sure the government can do a lot more by those foreign donations that were particularly received from the European Union. European Union contributed a lot of money to Gambia after his election. So yes, they have built some roads and developed more roads, but still, we also need other things to be taken care of. Those that I have highlighted not long ago. So those, you can do many things with different funds to prioritize what needs to be done.
Yeah, staying with the youths now, the backway syndrome, is slowed down a bit, after Jammeh went, but now the momentum has picked up, and now, the take-off place is in Gunjur now, that created a lot of our youths now, in just jumping, hiding somewhere and jumping into the sea and then go to probably head into Spain and then Morocco, and a lot of youths are coming from Gunjur now. That's the starting point. They don't go through Mali now. They just hop into a dinghy boat in Gunjur, and they take off. Another board just left about nearly a few weeks ago. But within a month, we have a nearly report of nearly five boats with hundreds and hundreds of youths going through. Some of them, get lost, and they just abandoned in Morocco. Another one take off just recently. We know what the government is probably not going to do anything about it. They don't even want to talk about it. But what can your advice, be to our youths and sometimes to parents, because the parents, think this is competition. If Mr. X and Y just hop in the boat, you also have to encourage Mr. W and X and Y to do the same, because this is fashion now. But what we research is there's a lot of money, at least to just hop into that boat from Gunjur. You have to pay nothing less than $40,000, just to get into the boat, and all the other related costs and all those things. Sometimes when we do the calculation, even though Gambia is as difficult as it is, we are not arguing against that. But the amount of money that people sometimes spend on this journey sometimes fail. I have my own nephew who was marooned in Libya. At some point, he has to give up, but the amount of money spent on him is over nearly 250,000. Just to come to, and now he couldn't go anywhere. They've been kidnapped about twice. They went to UN bodies now, and they repatriate him back to Gambia, which I think is a better idea. But we had to force him to do that. But he didn't want, but he knew that his life is at risk at some point. So what advice can we say to our people in Gunjur, to our mothers and parents? Because there's a vicious circle here. Everybody connive in some way and see that their sons and daughters need to, mostly sons, need to leave. Uncle Mori, because the nephew of mine who went is just a kid, and he didn't try anything. He left school at grade 9. And what do you expect? No skill, no nothing, and you want to hop into that boat and think London or America is paved with gold and all those things. Go ahead, Mr. Jammeh.
Yeah. So the way I take it is, anything that God destined for you in life, you'll get it, regardless of what happened today in your circumstance. You may travel and experience disappointment, but you may also come back and have something that you were not expecting. So it's all determined by God, but we shouldn't entirely blame it on God without taking some personal responsibilities sometimes. It may be easier for me to say all that because I'm sitting in America. Yes, I am, and I was fortunate to travel to America, not by a third-party country, but directly from Gambia to the US. But today, circumstances have changed, governments have changed, laws have changed. So what was easy yesterday may not be easy today. There are many people in Gambia who want to travel to America, but they still cannot. So that's one thing. And selling a land and put it all in one bucket and give it to a child, telling them to go, you don't know where they're gonna end at. The advice I have for that is, why not invest that money in some form of trade? Let them train on something and not always believe that the best thing is to leave Gunjur or Gambia and go overseas. Develop yourself. That is very, very important, because today people in the diaspora want to pay people to do work for them, but you cannot find somebody or a trade because there is nobody to do it. Either they have left Gunjur and traveled, or they don't want to do it. So you always have to start from somewhere by personal responsibility and working hard. And there is always something to do, even in Gunjur. And the things that are very, very important will be vegetable gardening, or the government do something to develop the land. Because what has been happening is everybody moving to these urban centers. Nobody is over there to produce food. Why can Gambia produce enough rice? Even if you cannot feed all of Gambia, but at least do something by mechanized farming. We used to have a Jahalipachar rice project that was funded by, I believe, IFAD, International Fund for Agricultural Development. That happened in Gambia in the provincial Pachar area, and it did some good. Why can the present government or any future government venture into that and help Gambians? Because if everybody moved to Combo, there is not going to be a land for farming. And even for food, vegetables and other things, where is Combo going to get that from? If we all sell our lands and everything turn into settlements, that is a bad trend, and it is continuing. And hopefully the government will change. The new incoming government, I'm hopeful, will change things. So these are areas that they can look into, and people around them, those party leaders also need to pay attention and advise properly, because Gambia is heading into a land that is very, very dangerous when everything is imported from overseas and nothing is produced in the country.
Yeah, that's really, really important advice. I hope the youths will adhere to this, because people like you, even when you were in the Gambia, not only you were doing farming, but you've been going to Gambia College and do PTC, DHTC, and all those things. Even if you have not traveled to America, at least you will have something, that you can hold on to. But the kids didn't try anything else, and they just want to venture. Even education, sometimes you have to convince them to finish grade 12. They then want to finish grade 9. The nephew of mine that I am referring to refused to even go beyond grade 9 in the Gambian standard. So, and he is just a kid anyway. So, but another thing that we need to emphasize is there's a lot of political flirtation. People are cohorting with APRC and Yahya Jammeh, and you addressed this back in a few years ago, and you say should Yahya be allowed to return, and you dilate on those. But now Yahya physically is not returning, but we gave relevance to him. Now he is addressing political rallies and all those things. The president started this, and he dignified Yahya with Yahya's ghost family, because we don't know whose Yahya's families are, and drove all the way to himself to Kanilai, and then being denigrated and being lambasted by Yahya and sworn, and now Yahya is just Mama Kande giving him the platform, and he is venting his anger and vitriol on people and all those things. What is your take on the current issues about political leaders, not APRC members but APRC executives, both the President Barrow and Mama Kande, and what this tells about the question that you ask, should Yahya be allowed to return in the Gambia? Probably that's not going to happen, but now physically he's there enjoying what he's doing from Equatorial Guinea. Go ahead, Mr. Jammeh.
Yes. What he is trying to do is sow division. That's all. Because he knows he cannot come to Gambia. There are international obligations that the Gambia government must pursue or satisfy before Yaya can come to Gambia. And the idea of allowing him to speak at rallies, to venture into tirades or insult his current and former enemies is not something that should be encouraged. And anybody who sees that should be a reason for not voting for that party. Because if you can allow
Why the fuck are you ignoring my call?
you can allow him to come to Gambia to participate there, they may ultimately allow him to come there, and that could cause more problems there. So he cannot come there with the Truth and Reconciliation matter still pending. He has done so much damage to people that needs to be redressed. So that is there, that has not been resolved, and it needs to be resolved. So he can come to Gambia. There has been foreign nationals who were killed in Gambia. Those countries are waiting
Do not bother my dad.
for Yaya
Do you
to
hear me?
come there. Hey, I'm on the phone.
I don't give a fuck. Don't bother my door.
You can mute it, Uncle Mo. You can mute it. That's okay, you know. Yeah. So once again, you know, we are talking about issues, you know, that are so important. And once again, as always said, Gunjur is blessed, you know.
Yeah, he cannot come to Gambia right now because the international Hague he will be driven there to be prosecuted. He has killed some foreign nationals in Gambia, and those governments are ready to take him to the Hague to resolve that problem. So that is still pending, and he cannot just fly to Gambia. He can just talk from a distance. That's all. That's all he can do.
Yeah. That's true. You know, his only motive is to sow a division and create the tension in the Gambia and claim that he was the captain of the ship that controlled Gambia and steer Gambia to peace. You know, now he's out. You know, but you know, it's not only President Barrow and Mama Kande and few people, but if you see people like Papa Fall, who were heroes, and sometimes Tamsin Jasseh, you know, now, you know, following President Barrow, not there's anything wrong with that, but President Barrow is having a coalition with, you know, divided APRC members like Tombon Jata and many APRC members. You know, that tells a lot more. You know, those people, you know, I'm personally disappointed because I was fighting for people like Papa Fall. They risked their life to save Gambia, and they are heroes and all those things. But victims are on the other side. Nothing was said about them. Nothing was done to them. President didn't even try to even give the attention, you know, to dignify the victim center, to go and visit them or even talk about them at all. So if you have seen victims like Tamsir Jasseh, who said one thing yesterday and today acted something else, Papa Fall and many other heroes that we think we are heroes, they are not no more because they are not representing the victims. That's really disheartening for people like me. And I know many people, and we're not saying that, but if we against Barrow, we against Mama Kande, for forming this partnership with Yaya Jammeh and Yaya Jammeh's people, you know, at executive level, then we should be bold enough to criticize Papa Fall and Tamsir Jasseh and all those who are victims or fought on behalf of victims who just went to President Barrow, Uncle Mori.
Yes, precisely my reason for supporting UDP, because all the other ones are engaged in nothing but personal aggrandizement and political opportunism. The oldest political party in the Gambia is UDP, and they have the right to participate in this election. I do not gauge crowd size as a reason for somebody to win, but they is the party with credibility and hope. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and thank you for my brother Usman Jola Toure saying hi to you. He say thank you, Koto Mori. And please share the program because this is a very, very important discussion talking about issues that affects our country and all those things. And you also wrote and you said I have recently read the 5-point plan of 5-point plan of the Gambia's UDP. Do you think all areas are covered? Saying, because you mentioned UDP now, it seems that because, you asked the question, keep going to the well, but retreated without drinking wine. I think now you find the well that you are drinking now, mentioning that you want to support UDP. The 5 points agendas, is that what motivates you or attracts you to UDP, or their stand against injustice, since about 22 years or 23 years ago?
That and the injustice, the 5-point plan, I think, still can be developed into more than what is there, because I don't think I've seen environment listed. And environment is very, very important. But even though that is missing compared to NPP, I haven't seen theirs precisely. And I was looking for one, but it looks like it's similar to one that the UDP has. But I haven't seen environment, and it needs to be there. Environment is the area that is very, very important. It cannot be ignored. So.
Yeah, that's fine. I went through it. It has been mentioned, but it's not among the 5-point agendas, which are priorities, and environment need to be prioritized. And so that's important. And Uncle Mori, let's come to GDA. You are a very, very active member of that organization. Doing fantastic work in Gunjur. The multi-purpose center that is taking off now. But to me, the job is not given, the attention that it deserves. That's my own belief and personal analysis in Gunjur. Youths are not engaging as they should be, but it's not being talked about on the ground as how it should be. But if we diaspora and Gambians, Gunjurians should develop anything, it needs to be that multi-purpose center, because we can do conferences there, we can do meetings there, we can do our weddings there without disturbing the whole place and all those things all over the littering, the programs, shouting all over the village. And people can have skill centers there where they can, and it's timeless. If that project is completed, it can be from one generation to one generation, because Gunjur has never had such edifice where it will serve multi-purpose reasons or issues for us as a community that we didn't have. Because even the discourse and all those things go to now the preschool, which is an open small place that people go. Even Jalibakwe are the place there. So how can you contextualize why this is not given the prominence that it deserves, is not given the support that it deserves, both from the diaspora and in Gunjur? Go ahead.
Yes, I think maybe there is still a lack of understanding of what GDA stands for. We do not stand for anything other than develop Gunjur. Gunjur is our home. We may be in Europe today, we may be in America today or any other country, but at the end of the day, it's going to be Gunjur. So we need to invest in Gunjur by making sure that when we go to Gunjur, we have a place we can call home, go to a place we can feel happy and confident. And right now there is none. this present multipurpose center that was there was built maybe over 31 years ago or more. And it doesn't have current facilities. And there is no other place in Gunjur where people have come together, however small that group may be, to contribute to buy a piece of land to develop for Gunjur, not for us as individuals, but this is for Gunjur. We purchased this land, $380,000, and we have fenced it around, and this is the latest thing we want to do, build a multipurpose center. We may not finish it 5 years, 10 years, but ultimately it's for the children of Gunjur or whoever is fortunate to live long to see it complete. So if my name is there today, that doesn't mean we are building it for me or for Usman Manjang, Tuklor C, or anybody within the GDA. So we need to take it as for our children tomorrow. And all we are asking for is $20. That's less than $1,000 for anybody, whether you are from Gunjur or from any other place. Friends of Gunjur can donate to it, and it's online where they can just click and contribute there. And developing story regarding that donation, I have some information that somebody from Gunjur donated $50,000 or $1,000. So that's Alassane Dabo, who is currently in United States in Tennessee. He sells houses in America and other places. So that is a huge contribution, and personally, as the treasurer of the organization, I extend my thank you to him and urge many other people to follow his example, because this is for Gunjur, it's not for us as individuals. So hopefully with his donation, others will take note and contribute to it for Gunjur.
Thank you to Alassane. I've seen it, and very, very impressive, and then as a young man to have that foresight to this is the legacy that we are building. There's a lot of Gunjurians, in the diaspora. I'm not saying other projects are not important, but there's no project in terms of building for the future that is as important as the GDA's multi-purpose center. As I said, this multi-purpose center is the benefit is endless. Gunjur can do anything that Gunjur want in that place. I was at the Quantum. I was at the IT school as the head of the IT school. There are students that are traveling from Gunjur to come to QIT, Mohammed Jas, Quantum, but the amount of fare that they pay from Gunjur, because they don't have guidance, in Serekunda, and it takes them about 3 days a week or 4 days a week to travel from Gunjur. The amount of money that they paid on a daily basis from Gunjur to traffic light at the FIB building where we were, if you add that at the end of their course, they spend more money on their traveling, more than the course that they are doing, So that's how expensive it can be for these students. So imagine if Gunjur has multi-purpose center and they have their students doing IT classes in Gunjur, that will be something else. It will save life, and people can have basic ideas in many things. So why these things doesn't take off? Is it that people don't understand about GDA? Is it that GDA don't market themselves that much to Gunjurians? I don't know. That's what we want to ask about. We have a lot of Gunjurians all over the place. Gunjurians are picking up, projects, small projects here and there. Why can't we just come together and make this a reality? The project of GDS, multi-purpose center, not for people who are in the diaspora or the GDA members, but for kids all over Gunjur and the satellite villages of Gunjur, where they can come and do their skill centers training there, where when we have Jaliba, we don't go to the primary school or the kindergarten where there's no hall at all. It's an empty space, where we do our discos, our Jalibas, even if we want community meetings and all that, there's no place that Gunjur can go. So this multi-purpose center can facilitate all these things. Why is it not taken off? Why isn't it creating, headlines for Gunjurians, so that we can come together and put our hands together and make this multi-purpose center a reality? I was seeing even the clearing of the place, while I was sick. Only few boys from the ground were there clearing things. But the amount of the momentum of donation, comparing the amount of people in Gunjur, in America, in the UK, in Sweden, and all those things, it's not there. Brother Mori, why do you think is that? Is it that the leaders are not marketing enough? Is it that the people in Gunjur don't understand it? Or is it that there's factionalism in Gunjur? Most of the time that is. But definitely the momentum should be more than how it is. That is my observation. Just go ahead.
Yes, we have made several efforts in the past when we embark on projects, reach out to the alcalo and the chief. We've done all that in the past. And some of the reaching out is yet to happen with this. When the building starts, we will do that. And also is in the offing to send individual letters to each person from Gunjur. That has happened for some people. It is pending for others. And as time goes on, we will reach out more and more for people to contribute at least $20. We don't want to send that request to our GDA forum in large numbers today because we do not want to create confusion by sending it there and later on you receive an email saying that we are asking for donation. But people on the ground need to understand that this is not for us as individuals, all right? If it doesn't benefit you personally, you may have a nephew, uncle, a brother, a sister who can benefit from it tomorrow. So it's for anybody who have foresight to think about it and see how they can benefit from it today. And also lack of participation today could be because nowadays Kabilos are not as strong as they used to, because it used to be if you are in a certain Kabilo, they will announce for some people or people to go and participate in some work. And I've seen people in those days when I was growing up, some people will not go and work and they are punished for it. In the evening, a bantaba, people are called, and those who do not participate, they are punished. Is that still happening, or that times have changed now? So it's very, very important when we announce it, because our diaspora or the ground team president has made significant efforts to announce it or publicize it whenever there is work. He will announce it on our forum. Some people hears it, they just don't want to do it. And again, it comes to personal responsibility. You're not doing it for any individual. Today, I can just sit and say, I don't care, I'm not doing it. Okay, because I'm not hoping that one day I'm gonna benefit from it or something. I don't I'm doing it for others who are less well off. That's my mentality, and I think we need more people like that. Don't say what is in there for me, just help those who cannot afford it or who may need it tomorrow. That's my take on it, on that.
Yeah, that's important. I just want anybody in the Gambia, especially the citizens of Gunjur, to see, the purpose, to come to light and see how important this could be. Our parties can be gone to this multi-purpose center where a little bit of money can be generated. Kids can have multi-skill centers there where they can learn IT, they can learn other skills, which so just imagine Gunjurians leaving Gunjur to go to Kartong to learn IT skills or other skills there. There's no community center in Gunjur which we can use. The Dimba Bungo is old fashioned, is outdated, the rooms are organized, haphazardly, it doesn't fit for purpose, so there's nothing there for youth, where youth can converge, probably they can be there playing games and sometimes come to visitors and we can have our meeting there. People can come all over the place and do conferences there and pay the money goes back to Gunjur and we can rechannel those monies back into the community and develop more things. So I think everybody who is aware of this or who don't know should know that this is an important project that is legacy, that is future, because most of the projects that we are supporting are very, very temporal compared to these ones, so we need to come together as a force. The amount of people that we have, if we can pay $20, that's going to go far, and we can quickly within 3 years. I saw people who build edifices and big mosques in their country, in their villages and all those within 5 years and finish it. So this multi-purpose center need to be finished by Gunjurian. If not, it's gonna be a very, very big embarrassment for us as a people, where we don't have anything there, where we don't have a hole that is secured, we just go anywhere under the big tree or whatever. Even Sukutarians have graduated from that now, and I think we do need to graduate equally from that, and one way to do that is to give our hands to GDA executive, and promptly we can finish this project and we can think of something else again. Brother Mori, we are really nearly at the end of the program, but I think one thing you mentioned in one of your posts in 2020, you said the Gambians must find a way forward to coexist with political differences without insult and hardcore, vitriolic recrimination against each other. This is very, very important. This is election time. This is party politics time, and leaders and everybody else is trying to get an upper hand. If that means dividing people into tribes, into groups, into bubbles, and all those things, they are doing it. So Gambians need to, not insult each other or using all kinds of, but Gambia is one of the most connected, people, the whole world over. In terms of closeness, in terms of intermarriage, in terms of families cross-carpeting, if you see me, I'm Fuller here, I am this thing, I'm this, and everything else. If you sum me up from just because of my surname, you are getting a massive wrong, because you don't know who I am. So this is very, very important. The election will come and go. I will recommend we show our leaders that we can change them if they don't perform. But really, we need to stay close and not allow the politicians, they are opportunistic, they are divisive sometimes, to come and divide us into groups, into regions, into tribes, and all those things. So that is really, really important. And we have to say that, and we see of recent, the president is attacking the diaspora, and just about a few days ago, attacking us that some of us don't have anything, we cannot offer anything, and all those things. And diasporas are important. The amount of money they contribute to the GDP of the Gambia, that the official, but on official channel, the amount of money that goes when people are going, they give money to their families or friends and all those, and that money filter down directly to the ordinary and ordinariest of people in Gunjur, in Fatoto, in Saragai, in all over the place. These three things, and the final one is, Jawara call you rat as a runaway teachers. What does that impact has on the education system also. We all have to take responsibility. There's a lot of rats, all over the place. Probably one day when we retire, some of them will go back and do teaching again to just, yeah, but the divisiveness of our politics, the insulting, the politicians dividing us and all those things. You can comment on that, brother, Uncle Mori.
Yes. So again, it comes to personal responsibility. The current president of the Gambia is Adama Barrow, and Gambian people have the right to retain him or change the government. And that is imminent in just 2 weeks. Hopefully, we'll have a new administration. If I'm talking here today, doesn't mean my friendships will go away tomorrow if you are in a different political party. I hope we can coexist and understand each other better. We are in this together. We all want Gambia to develop. And very, very important advice for the government, because the president went to Niamey in September of last year and asked ECOWAS governments to maintain the forces in the Gambia because they are doing some audits with the army and they want ECOMIC to stay in the Gambia. I would like to convey my opinion on that. ECOMIC need to stay away from any political interference and refuse any action that the current president may order if electoral defeat is seen. They shouldn't interfere in that fact and let the Gambian people vote. The Electoral Commission also need to be awake and make sure things run properly. And Gambian people must come together after this election and maintain their relationships and make sure things go right. And also, that's very important. Gambia has a lot of resources that any government should pay attention to and develop more. And farming is very, very important. We should not forget it altogether, because without farming, things are not going to be easy. Things are going to be more expensive on a daily basis. And Gambian people are hungry right now for leadership that is lacking for the last 5 years. And we need to make sure we change it. And at the end of the day, if Gambian people have decide that they don't want to change, we'll all go along and still campaign and still advise the current government. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, there were greetings to brother Jelan Dabo. Very true. He said, my brother, and Kevin Tijan Toure is sharing the GoFundMe of GDA.
Thanks.
And Michelle Bajo Jaobanna said, good evening to you all. Brother Mori, we will come to the teacher thing, but the last one, most important one, especially for Gunjur, is tough, is building a smart city, as he called it, tough city in Gunjur. I had tough on this platform asking about the environmental consequences, the corporate social responsibility for Gunjur and all those things, because this is going to change Gunjur if it goes by significantly, even though it's between Gunjur and Sifo, but most of the land, or all the lands are from Gunjurian land, so that has consequence in terms of people selling their lands, how the price of land will going to appreciate. Or the Salaba area, is this going to be the same in terms of the environment, in terms of building artificial greenings and all those things, which I asked us tough and all those things. But unfortunately, nobody can, it's a private investment, but at least communities should have the right at least to demand what they want around those areas, but it is not happening. How do you see the tough city in Salaba, which is about twice the size of Banjul. That place is twice the size of Banjul. That's how big it is, and it's just at the corner of the border between Gunjur and Casamas, between Gambia and Casamas. Significant. Go ahead, man. What is your thought about that?
Yeah, I was in one way feel okay about the project, but it has significant consequences for Gunjur. One area, it's going to affect our beach tremendously because traffic is going to be very, very heavy between that area and Gunjur. People want to go to Gunjur Beach and do their parties, their picnic, and other things or rest. But that beach right now need to be cleaned and controlled properly because it is not. It is very dirty. You see littering everywhere, no environmental protection or care. Those things need to be addressed. And if the beach is going to be an area for people to come to, what does Gunjur need to get for that? Because the road needs to be properly constructed, and there needs to be some form of taxation there that people can come to the beach and pay money to develop that beach area, if it comes to that. So it's going to affect Gunjur in that way. And property prices in Gunjur are going to go up. And this multipurpose center we are talking about, in one way, is a great thing, because if we have something to do there in terms of a profession, you can train welder in there or carpentry there. And the next level, you can go to this tough area where they will have some form of higher education to develop into more advanced stage. We can come together and form an agreement with them in that regard. But the environmental consequences are going to be great, because a lot of people who will be buying land or a home there are not going to come from Gunjur. They're not going to come from Gunjur. If it does, it may be people in the diaspora. Some will purchase 2, 3, 4 for different people that are even overseas, because Banjul is crowded. People want to leave Banjul and move to the outer areas. So another consequences will be that.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And most of the time we talk about the trees, but there are a lot of animals in those areas. In Salaba area is one of the, for fauna places for Gunjur, where you have deers and all those. Not only because of the activities going on there, they are going to cross back because there's just small border there. They're going to cross to Casamas and all those things, but we are likely going to lose them forever. Right. So yes, it has a lot of consequences for Gunjur. There's both positive and negative there. But finally, I will think that now you endorse UDP. That's mean keeping going to the well but retreat without drinking. Now you've drink the well water, you find a very, very good water that you want to drink. Is that UDP now that you endorse, Mr. Jammeh?
That is correct. And I'm not looking for a political or an appointment. I'm not looking for one. So I have not communicated this to anyone. I'm just a regular Gambian endorsing a party that I hope will come to power and identify areas that the Gambian people need, especially the youth. something need to be put in place for youth to stabilize the migration and develop the youth that are going to be future leaders of the country. And I also hope the UDP, if they win, will take care of the country's environment very carefully. And I might add this, let us try to avoid personal infighting or division, because this is one way the military identify or use as an excuse to overthrow a sitting civilian government that comes into military rule. They promise we're going to be there for 6 months, 1 year, and it developed into 22 years. Recently, Guinea, Mali, Ivory Coast, they are unstable because of leaders promising one thing and doing the other. We must always try to avoid that, whether it's the current government or any government that succeeds it, must always realize and understand they are there for the people and do the right thing. Listen to your people and do what is supposed to be done to avoid military takeovers, because they are not good for any country, especially Gambia. We do not need another military takeover in the Gambia. And these political leaders need to understand that and pay attention to their personal disagreements and stand there for the Gambia and its people. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Mori. We're going to go to your final advice, to all the topics that we've done, especially Gunjo and then GDA, that I'm very, very passionate about now, and I think we have to amp the talking and discussion around that, so that we can have this multi-purpose center on. Well, you can give your final thought and final advice, to our viewers all over the place and our young people who are going to come and listen to this program again.
Final advice: always work hard. If you are young today, you may not realize the fruits of your labor today, but long term, nobody is going to tell you do this, do that. You will be independent when you have the knowledge and the stamina to work hard and develop yourself. That's what matters at the end of the day. Develop yourself, because that's what's going to count. Nobody is going to take care of you for the rest of your life. So at someday you're going to be on your own. People will help you. You may have family members who help you, but personal responsibility is also important. And you may think you have not succeeded today in what you are doing, but keep trying. If you need help, ask for help one way or another, and there'll always be somebody to help. If it is something that the other person identifies as a genuine effort to develop somebody's life. So that's important.
Yeah, important wisdom, definitely. Thank you, Uncle Mori, for dignifying our platform with your presence today. This is wisdom shared. We will have you here time to time so that we can have some of these discussions, and which are very, very, very important for our young people, for our country, for our intellectual, for women and everybody else. And this will motivate, as a role model to our young people, so that they can work hard and pursue education and skill development, so that tomorrow they can be independent, They cannot perpetually depend on people and start blaming everybody for not helping them. You can be helped, but at some point you have to take the mantle so that you can be in position to also help. This is wisdom. This is fantastic. We are very, very proud of you. We are honored. And I am specifically honored as an uncle. I remember you with your BBC small radio all over the place, focus on Africa. I can imagine seeing you going around with your radio, towards Karankolon. So this passion for education and information has been there since day one. It doesn't start today. So please, journey of 1,000 kilometers, start with a step. Young people, don't get discouraged. Don't risk your life. Take your time. Life is not a shortcut, and you will get there with hard work and, of course, with help. But it doesn't always go your way. But find a way that you will keep going. Never give up. Thank you so much, Uncle, and thank you so much to all our listeners all over the place, and our boss Lamin Jammeh for taking care of the technical issues behind the scene, and to everybody else. Thank you. Until next time.
Thank you for the.
Nag yaa ngi bëgg a yàgg ci dëkk bi sa holiday yi gudd na lool sax vacances yi yàgg na waaye dama ne naa ñibbisi ci sama réew investir wax nga dëgg sa saafara man maa ko yor jógal ñu dem topp ma ci sama waaj da ngaa bëri pexe de topp ma.
xam ngeen Gambia léegi dafa open loolu moo waral global properties jóg jaay la kër doo manqué courant doo manqué ndox da ngay am pool maanaam piscine sa disposition di nga am beach bi sécurité 24 hours te soo bëggee investir aussi nga mën a investir sa réew jënd kër di ko louer hôtel yi na xam baax na waaye nag am na gan yoo xam ni dañoo bëgg bu ñu ñëwee ci réew nekk à l'aise nekk ci bërëb boo xam ne dañu am seen waañ bu ñu bëggee togg seen lekku dëkk dañu am seen salle bu mag am seen néegu bopp am seen lépp loolu yëpp ak global properties mën na nekk.
jërëjëf def leen ni man ñëw leen global properties ngeen jënd seeni kër aar seen ëllëg ak bu seen njaboot.